Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm drawing me and my lovely fiancé as characters from the Dungeons and Dragons universe. I've only recently sort of started getting into Dungeons and Dragons as a game because I suppose it wasn't really something that I ever thought of, because a lot of my friends, I'm a lot nerdier than a lot of my friends. And when I did have a friend to be able to go and do Dungeons and Dragons with, there weren't really any players in our area. We did try doing an online campaign, but it just sort of fell through. It's much nicer playing it in person. And now I'm part of a group with my fiancé and some friends, and it's so ridiculous and it's so fun. We started a one-shot, and it was supposed to be a one-shot, set in a retirement home for old retired adventurers, and it was the most ridiculous thing, and it turned into a two-shot game and finished with the old-timers travelling to the moon. So we're technically not even finished, but it was great. My character was called Gladys, and she was an elf, but no one knew how old she actually was. There were rumours that she'd been in several different retirement homes just because she lived so long, and the homes just eventually went out of business or shut down and she moved on to the next one. I kind of modelled her after the old lady in Afterlife with Ricky Gervais, and every day she's just like, well, I haven't died yet. I'll drop a link to the clip from Afterlife because that's essentially who I modelled her after, and she was so funny. She was so fun to play. I am currently doing a campaign with a character, but maybe I'll do a separate video on her. Maybe I'll draw her and maybe do some lore drop or something. I don't know. Tell me what you think. Are you guys Dungeons and Dragon players? Do you like the idea? But anyways, so in terms of this drawing, we decided we wanted a dual class because we're all multifaceted human beings, and two classes felt much more like us than just choosing one. Also, I'm indecisive, but that's beside the point. Gareth, my lovely fiancé, decided he would be a human because he insists he didn't know he could choose differently, but he definitely did. And his class would be a monk barbarian. Barbarian because I was told it's a simple class and I am but a simple man. And then I quite rightly said, and because they use big weapons to hit things with. To which his response was, big weapons. So, yeah. And he chose monk because it was his first D&D character that he played, and he also used to do kickboxing as a sport, so it felt like it fit nicely. I chose to be a tiefling because I think they look cool and I wanted to draw myself with pointy ears and horns. For class, I chose a druid bard, mainly druid because I like animals and plants and nature, and I'm not observant or coordinated enough to be a ranger. And only a little bit of bard because I do like singing to myself around the house. I also just really wanted to choose classes that were more magic based because I love magic. Whatever character creation I go into, I'm most of the time using some sort of magic based character. I then also went and added in our cats as Tressims because I thought that would be cute. The sleepy one is Ivy. She's about 10 years old and an absolute unit. She's so chonky. She's not very fond of strangers, and she was originally my fiancé's cat, and I have somehow managed to make her love me, so she's always asking to come and cuddle on my lap when I'm sat down on the sofa, which is really cute, but not so great in the summer when it gets really hot. But yeah, when she's not asking for lap cuddles and pets, she can usually be found somewhere cosy having a nap. Kiki is the one being a menace, which is his everyday life. But he is only young still. I think he's 2 this June or July, and he loves screaming at us when it's time for food. One of his favourite places is up on our windowsill in the bedroom, and you can hear him whenever he launches himself off that windowsill and zooms around the house. He is also a bit of a cuddle bug too, so we forgive him his transgressions of feet biting because he has the gift of being absolutely adorable. The art itself, I wanted to try a different brush for the line art, and I do really like how it came out, although I have since started using another brush now, so any artwork after this is going to look slightly different probably. As you probably saw in the beginning, I used references to help with the poses and the hammer, and I cannot stress enough as an artist how helpful references are. Don't be afraid of them. You don't have to draw everything from imagination, and my drawings always come out looking so much better if I've used a reference. The colouring is fairly simple because this wasn't really supposed to be a massive art project, but it did take me a while because clothing is really hard. I personally really struggle with coming up with unique clothing designs and then choosing colours and accessories to give interest. It's just something that I haven't quite mastered yet. As soon as I hit something in a piece that I struggle with, it takes me a while to get over that because I'm just such an overthinker and perfectionist. I'm not entirely happy with the outfits, but it did get to a point where I just wanted to finish it. I think Gareth represents his two classes a lot better than I do. You don't really see any of the bard in what I'm wearing, so definitely something to improve upon next time. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and listening to me being nerdy. If you've made it this far, let me know what D&D class you would be. Let me know also if you want me to talk more about nerdy stuff, or whether you like videos where I'm talking about like my life and what I do, or whether you prefer me to talk in more detail about the art, or maybe I should just try and mush them together a bit more. But yeah, let me know. I hope you're all having lovely days, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!